All right, guys, so this is an SSR110. First thing we're going to address with this thing is the leaking carb, the exact same as the PW80 issue. Not sure what year this is. I'll look at the VIN and do that. But so we're going to fix the float height on this, replace the grips. Front brake has nothing, so we got a new one here for that. Yeah, let's get the carb off this thing. All right, guys, so we got our carb off. The seller did say that this was just cleaned. However, it's leaking like crazy, so I'm not gonna trust anybody. Fuck, this was not smart of me. We're gonna drain that into the drain tank real quick. Stupid zip tie in the way. Oh yeah, there's a bunch of gunk on the float. And some varnish in there, as you can see, but I mean, I've seen way worse than that. The gasket actually looks pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and pop this float off. Yep, I see exactly our issue. The float needs to be bent up a little bit, just like the last one. Let's try and get this float pin off. Oh, came right out. We have our needle and float. All right, let's pull our main. Grab an adjustable. And the big guy will work. What does this carb run for a main? 75? Yep, perfectly clear. Pull our pilot. What do we, a 40 pilot? That seems pretty big to match a yeah, that's clogged. So glad we checked that out. I don't know how it was so easy starting. But let's spray some. Always forget how bad it hurts when you got a cut on your hand and you get some brake cleaner in there. A little carb cleaner through it. And grab the lucky wire, and I know you got to be careful because these are brass, but this is what works. Can kind of see through it. Keep poking through all the holes and twisting it. That's kind of what I do. I grab a little strand and just carefully twist through it, poke through all these side holes. This thing needs to be perfectly clean for it to start and run good. Start and idle good, I should say. And you can use heat, just be careful because this is brass. Just like that, perfectly clean. Okay, that looks good. Yeah, the seat is definitely a little rough looking. We're gonna check how many turns in our idle is. Half, 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 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.25. Here is what that idle screw looked like. The spring's still nice and strong. We're gonna go through, spray through everything, clean it up, get it back on the bike, and we're gonna adjust this float a little bit and clean that up. And let's see if she idles. All right, so we got the car back on the bike. First test here, turn it to reserve. Does it? Piss gas. All right, nothing yet. I guess we're gonna try and kick over the bike, and if it runs, then we know it's getting gas. And if it doesn't run, if it runs and it's still not leaking, then we know we fixed the problem. Otherwise, if it doesn't run, then it's not getting gas at all. So let's try and fire it up. All right, it's in neutral. That's choke on. So that's choke on. All right, let's try again. All right, this stand's annoying. There's a lot of smoke coming from the exhaust, but now we know we got the gas leak fixed and we have the idle adjusted a bit. Next, we're going to do an oil change. All right, for our oil change, it's going to be a 17 mil, and I gotta assume this is our drain plug, but we'll find out real quick. This tub is already dirty and has chunks in it, so. Oh yeah, that oil is dark. We'll grab a rag real quick. I'll show you guys. Really dark. Felt good that we're doing an oil change, but I'll catch you when we are filling it back up. All right, now that our oil is done draining for the most part, switch your ratchet to tight. And you probably should do that by hand, but it's a cheap Chinese pit bike, so you can get away with beating on them. Tight, don't need to murder it. Google said about a quart. It doesn't say it anywhere on here. It tells you how frequently to do it, but it does not tell you how much oil. So I saw a quart. So we got a quart filled up in here. 10W40 wet clutch, as always. All right, we're gonna go grab another rag, clean this off, and then we'll fire it up again. Make sure everything's running smoothly. All right, so we've completed our oil change. Obviously make sure that bolt's snugged up. Make sure your cap's tight. Let's go for a start up here. Turn our petcock's still on and we're not leaking gas. Does look like the bike's smoking a little bit. That's a little pleasant surprise from the seller. We're just gonna ignore that for now. Hey guys, so we're back here with the SSR110. We're actually gonna try and bleed the brakes before we just replace them. So how we're gonna do that, we've opened this up, we've ensured this is full with brake fluid. However, our brake is doing nothing. So what we're gonna do is, we got our little drain tank right below it, but we're gonna pump the brakes about 5 times. And then I'm gonna crack this with a 5/16 wrench, let the little bit of brake fluid and air bubbles come out, and we're gonna repeat this until we have adequate brake pressure. And we're gonna see if that can work instead of just replacing the brakes. But let's try that quick and I'll get back to you with what happens. All right, so we've been trying to bleed the brakes for a while here, and I do not think that is our issue, because when I'm squeezing it and then loosening and tightening the bleeder, no air bubbles is coming out, just straight fluid. And as you can see, if you look at our pads, they're just not engaging when I squeeze the lever. So we already got the parts. We're just gonna go ahead and replace it all. First, we're gonna pop these 2 off. Then we're gonna pop these 2 off. We already got everything else unhooked, and we're just gonna go ahead and swap them out. All right, we got a ratchet here. All right, so we went ahead and zipped the top off, zipped the bottom off. We can just pull this out from here. We got our brake assembly. Let's get our new one up there. We're just gonna, this piece, take that hardware out. I don't know why I took that out. I'm gonna need that right now anyways. Just gonna kind of start these with the ratchet. Oh shoot, it's loosen. Just kind of start those, get our brakes spun down into position. It went through the number plate right here and then through this little loop, so we're gonna go ahead and loosen those up real quick. But I have to figure this out. There's like a holder where the rotor should go. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get this holder out of here, or how to loosen like the piston on it, if that makes sense. Give me just one sec. What do you guys think are the odds the new one came with brake fluid in it? Oh yeah, shoot, it did. Did not think Amazon would have shipped it with brake fluid. All right, so what I ended up doing was just cracking the bleeder, which loosened up the pads enough to get this stopper out of there. I then used a big flathead to get some leverage to push the caliper back. I was able to get it mounted on. I put these two, what size are they? What size is that? Whoops. 1/2-inch bolts, or 1/2-inch socket size to get these on. Tightened the bleeder back up, and as you can see, let me show you. Our brakes are great. So, and then I just put a zip tie through here because this cable is too long. It's probably not perfect. It's from Amazon, but it's a little wonky, but it's not really close to the tire. So I'll dig it. And also this kit came with extra pads. So for like 15 bucks, pretty good kit. I mean, it came with the pads in it and also new pads. So I'll take it. Front brakes are done. Next thing we're doing to the SSR110 is grips, so let's get to it. All right, so our bike is running. We got our petcock to reserve. We're leaking no gas. Idling pretty good. Takes a second to come back to idle, but that's what you can expect for a Chinese carb. Last thing with this bike is we got the new grips on. I already showed you how to do that, and it's pretty common sense. Last step with this bike is really going to be new slider, which I have on the way. I'm probably not going to show you guys. It's one screw. Just go this. Last thing I'm going to do is that new slider and clean it up a little bit more and get our new plastics on. And this one's for sale.